Hello everybody, my name is ODST and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Survival. So, a lot of stuff happened in between episodes. I had a pretty long live stream where we done some work here. We built this guild hall and we built a mob grinder. Oh, my game just... we built a mob grinder down there. Out of the zombie spawner that we found, I think it was the first or second episode. We also got some enchanted tools, because, you know, done some work. So this episode, I don't really have a plan. It's more just, I just want to talk about life, pretty much. Give you my perspective on life, and how I feel other people should deal with the troubles of what they're dealing with, or at least how I think it would help you to deal with the troubles of life. So this episode is going to get a bit more personal than others, but I don't really mind. I like the fact that people who watch my videos get to know who I actually am, other than just some kid making videos on YouTube because he feels like it. So I'm gonna start off with, I was born in Ireland. For people who don't know, I was born into a pretty rough family, should I say. My parents didn't get along too well with each other, and my brothers were well known by the police in my town, and by the police in other towns. They always had dealings and run-ins with them. So, because of the situation that I grew up in, or well, the home style that I grew up in, I tended to be a pretty unruly kid. I got into a lot of trouble with a lot of people. I was constantly getting into physical fights with people in my neighborhood, although I would not do that now. I'm a very weak person. If I were to get into a fight, I'd have to have somebody else be there with me who's actually bigger and brawnier. I'm just a nerdy little noodle. But so of course that didn't really help out. I was constantly going in with social workers, people who talk to you about how your life is going. The reason why they got involved is because my parents were splitting up, and of course they wanted to know, well, who do you want to live with? And young naive me would always say I want to live in a household with both my parents, but of course that never happened. Parents ended up splitting up, never lived in the same house for more than a couple of years. I think the longest I lived in one house was, I think, for 4 years or so. Then I moved to an entirely different continent. But basically what these life experiences have taught me is nothing is ever really in your control. You face a lot of problems in life that you just can't deal with, or you just can't control. And I know to a lot of people, including me at the time, that made me feel very, powerless and useless. Because, I was just a kid at the time when my parents were, fighting, arguing, splitting up. But now that I'm quite a bit older, uh, I've come to terms with the fact that there's just stuff in life that you can't fix, and there's stuff that you can't alter, and stuff happens that you just shouldn't have to worry about if you can't, if there's nothing that you can do to change the situation. Um, I know a lot of uh, a lot of people nowadays also have gone through a lot of the stuff that I've gone through. Um, I used to think, actually, I used to think that I was the only person um, who actually had to deal with these problems in my life. Um, of course, the reason why I thought this was because um, I grew up in a religious country, and not a lot of families, no matter how bad the parents or the wife and husband actually disliked each other, um, they didn't divorce because it was highly frowned down upon in Ireland. Although it's much more common now that I'm older. Um, but people in my school, a lot of my friends, their families were all together, so of course I felt like I was the only person who was actually having to deal with this sort of thing at home, which obviously is not the case. Nobody is ever alone. Um, because when I moved to America, um, suddenly that was like a complete 180. Nearly all my friends, uh, their families have been divorced, like their mother and father have been divorced. I currently have a friend whose parents are getting divorced, and of course I sympathize with that person because um, kids who experience their parents getting divorced, it's not easy no matter what age you are. Younger people don't, when you're younger and you're experiencing this, you don't really understand what actually is happening until many years later. Um, but all I want to say is, on this topic, that sort of stuff, um, it's just something that you can't control in life. It's a rogue variable, and nothing in life you can 100% control. Um, Another topic that I wanted to touch on is, well, it's not so much a topic, it's just a way on how I view life. It's something that I grew up to learn, and although I don't believe it's the best thing to, to view life, um, it's the way I grew up viewing life. And how I view life is um, shit happens. Uh, Shit happens in life that you just don't have control over it. And so shit happens, you just build a bridge and deal with it. It it's 100% not the way I believe people. Uh, it's not a way that you should live life. I do not recommend people thinking this is how your life is, or this is how I have to live my life. It's not a great way of living life, and in fact, you don't really experience life living like this. Unfortunately for me, it's just a mental state that I have put myself into since I was a very young age. Um, it's just something that I have put on myself that I have tried to get rid of. I just can't. Um, Another thing I wanted to say, this is going to be a pretty short video compared to my other videos, but if life was just nothing but good moments, you would never be able to experience those good moments and good times to their fullest potential. Everybody needs those bad moments so that they can live life and truly appreciate the good that is in their life. So if you've somebody in your life who tries every day to make you laugh, even though they're not funny, or they try their best to make you feel good, go ahead to them and thank them. Because I can assure you, they know what it feels like to feel the shittiest of the shit. And the reason why they try to make you laugh every day, even though they feel so bad. The reason why they want to make you feel great and feel happy is because they don't want you to feel the way that they feel. The reason why I know this is because I do it. I try every day, and I know I'm not a funny person. I know I'm not the funniest person out there. But every day I go to my friends and I try my damn best to make them feel happy, or I try my best to make them laugh, because I know firsthand what it is like to live in a shitty situation and basically have nobody there to make you feel better. And so I don't want my friends or anybody to live in that way. As well as people who do live in in a pretty bad situation. If you do, like I have, talk to people. Go and talk to your friends, your parents. You may not like to talk to your parents like I do. I don't like talking to my parents. It's just something I'm not comfortable with telling my parents, or like spilling out how I feel about life. It's just something that I'm not comfortable with. But I do substitute that with I talk to friends, or I'm doing what I'm doing now. I'm just rambling into a video about my life experiences because it makes me feel better about it. Don't bottle it up, and you think that just bottling it up will make it go away, or just pretending that it never happened will make it go away. It just makes it 1,000 times worse. The reason why this village that I'm building is called Northrop Village is because I'm dedicating this build to a pretty close friend of mine who ended up taking his own life over the summer. And the reason why I will never know, because he never told me. He never told anybody except for a couple of my friends who were told not to tell anybody else. Which is, I understand that they won't tell anybody else if my friend asked them not to. The only thing that I regret about this is that I never really noticed it. But my friend, he tried every day and succeeded very much at making me and my other friends feel happy and laugh, because he knew how it felt to feel shit and to feel bad. So if you ever consider taking your own life, tell somebody. Tell your parents immediately, first of all, or tell your friends. Or if you don't feel like either of those, in the description of this video, I will leave the phone number to the suicide hotline, so at least you can talk to somebody who cannot and won't judge you on past decisions of what you've done that you feel ashamed of, because they don't know about it. Suicide, no matter how well you may think it will make things, all it does is pass on your sadness to everybody who you cared about. and all your friends and family. So if you think that suicide is your only option, I'm here telling you that suicide, taking your own life, should never ever be considered at all. Um, Wasting your own life and your own potential at life is such a sad, sad thing to happen. And it will make so many people who care about you feel bad to the point where they might get those thoughts in their head as well. So, that's basically all I wanted to talk about in this episode. I know it's a more short uh, episode compared to others, as well as a lot more heavy episode, more serious, less joking around. Um, but I didn't really have much of a plan, and I just want to get some things off my chest with people. Um, I hope that this video has at least made some of you who watch this have a different perspective on life, and made you feel better about stuff that's going on, or something that is going on in your life that you just can't control. Um, if you ever want to talk about this, I'm always open. I'll leave my email in the description as well, or you can just talk to me about whatever troubles you in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to respond, and I'll be even more happy to help you through whatever you're dealing with. So until next time, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.